one time, two time. It's AI strategy, Apple intelligence. We were to consolidate above 200. That is so for about a year, Apple AAPL has been kept below a very key resistance level. But over the past 2 weeks, finally that resistance level gave way and we are now at a higher phase. So can there be more upside as we head into the second half of 2024? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier MyZero trader in Philips Securities, and in this video, I'll be talking about Apple. We'll dive into the charts of Apple to see where we are right now, what has happened, and some of the news that came out for Apple over the past weeks as to why we actually broke that very key level. And perhaps you guys could put this stock in your watch list as well, because I think it looks pretty bullish if we can stay above this key level. So let me just share with you very quickly what are some of the news that came out for Apple and why did we see some strength coming back. So over the past 1 year, right, this term AI, artificial intelligence, has been the buzzword, and a lot of companies that is to do with AI like Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Alphabet has seen huge increase in their prices because they have rode the AI wave. So Apple has been a little bit of a laggard. It did not really move much. It's like moving sideways for many months, and finally we are starting to see some signs or some sparks of bullishness coming back. Why? Well, because recently, right, Apple has announced what is called its AI strategy. They call it Apple Intelligence. So what happens is that Apple revealed its plan for artificial intelligence in this conference called Worldwide Developer Conference on the June 10th. So the centerpiece of Apple's AI strategy is this revamped Siri digital assistant which responds to voice and text prompts. So pretty much you can talk to Siri and you can ask it to check your email, your handphone, your messages. You can see right over here, Siri will be able to work across apps and retrieve information from messages, emails, calendar, photos, and other apps. It can also summarize your email, web pages, transcribe call. You can pretty much do what all the usual AI tools does. And due to this news, Apple has staged a very strong breakout because finally it's playing catch up to all the other AI plays. Many of these analysts are predicting that this AI capability, this new AI feature or function will drive an upgrade cycle for many of the iPhones now in the market as people sell their old iPhone and buy the new iPhone 16, iPhone 15 Pro that has this AI function. So it is mentioned that there are many iPhone handsets that are overdue for an upgrade. So this analyst estimates that 270 million iPhones out of 1.5 billion worldwide, right, have not been upgraded in more than 4 years. So now with this AI function, a lot of these iPhones want to go and upgrade, right, to the much better version of the iPhone with this AI feature. So that was one of the main reasons why Apple actually spiked up after the 10th of June when they announced this whole AI strategy called Apple Intelligence. Right over here you can see that's where we spiked up on this chart. You can see on this day, on the 11th of June. So that they announced it on 10th of June, the next day they spiked up by more than 10%. All right, so let's take a look at where we are right now, and is it a good time for Apple in terms of technically, right, in terms of the charts? How do we look? What's the trend like? Are we consolidating? Is there a potential targets that we can hit to? Let's take a look. So you can see right over here, this is Apple, and for more than a year, so I've been talking about Apple since last year. You can see that we have been consolidating for Apple from about 165. So this was a very strong support level, right? Since May, more than a year back, we have touched, rebounded. So a couple of times, 4-5 times we touched it and we rebounded from this horizontal support level, right? And the key here is that we were actually trading below this very key resistance level. Let me just draw it for you. You can see this is a horizontal resistance level, and this is none other than the $200. It's a psychological level. You can see that we touch it or near it about like 1 time, 2 time, rebounded 3 time, and finally, right, we have broke the $200 psychological resistance after this entire AI strategy news was announced, right? So it is pretty much a good move, a good thing, because now over the past 1 year we have sold off. There's just a lot of sellers coming back and see, but finally all these sellers have given way and buyers managed to break that very key resistance. So this 200 level would now be what we call a support level. So let me just turn it to green in color. So how it works is that in the market, when we break a key resistance level and prices were to stay above that resistance level, that could potentially be a new higher support level. So the support has gone from like over here at about 165. You can see this is the support 165. Now it has gone up to over here at that 200. So if we were to consolidate above 200, that is a good thing, and potentially we may start to see even more upside. So you can see now it's about $213 for the past 2 weeks. It is still looking pretty bullish, right? Buyers are coming back on dips as prices were to near that 200, somewhere near 210. I think buyers are starting to come back already. So let's take a look at the trend right now. So you can see for Apple, right, there are already signs of the uptrend taking shape since last year. So you can take a look at what we call the moving averages. So when the 100 days moving average line, this red line crosses above the 200 days moving average, there's a sign of a longer term uptrend. But you can see as we consolidated last year, right, the red and the blue line started to actually flatten out, right, because it was a bit of a sideways movement. Look at this, right? Red flattening out, blue flattening out, which is correct. We are somewhere in the middle in the range, right, from like 165 to 200, and these lines will flattening out. But right now you can see that the two lines, the red and the 100 days moving average and the 200 days moving average, they are starting to slope back up, with the red one potentially crossing back above the blue line. So that can put it back into a formal uptrend in the longer term. Let's take a look at what we call the short-term trend. So even though this stock is in the longer-term uptrend, in the short term we actually saw some weakness because, as I mentioned, right, we hit the 200, we sold off. We hit the 200, we sold off, and we can take a look at what we call the 20 days moving average. So this 20 days moving average, the green line, actually allows us to gauge what we call the short-term trend. So if the price is below it with the line pointing down, not so good, right? This shows that the short-term trend is down. Look at this, down. This line is like pointing down again. All right, starts to reverse back up. Great, right? So this 20 days moving average since like May, just last month, we reversed back up, price above it. You can see this green line. So let me just turn it to green in color. You can see this green line is sloping up, up, up. Let me just zoom in for you. So right over here, this 20 days moving average line, it is still sloping up, right? So it's a good thing. So the short-term trend is up. Plus, we have broken above the 200 resistance, which is now a new support level. So I think it looks quite bullish for Apple right now, as long as we stay above this 200 new support level. So what are some of the resistance that have came out over the past 2 weeks? Well, there is one resistance right over here. You can clearly see that it's about $220, 220, right? That's where we saw a couple of a bearish candlestick, a candlestick whereby sellers came back and pushed prices down. A candlestick with a higher or upper shadow, another red bearish candlestick, started to pull back a bit. All right, so 200 to 220, that is pretty much the range right now. Of course, if we were to break that 220, great, potentially we may start to see more upside. Targets could be revised higher, maybe all the way to $250. So how can one actually take a position in Apple? Well, you can take a position probably what we call near a support level. So the support used to be like 165. So I covered this stock previously, and I mentioned that if we were to hit to near 165 to 170, you can see that's where we rebounded many times. So right over here, somewhere in April and May, we did hit there. The short-term trend turned up. That's where you could get into, right, the recovery. So you have got in, great. That's where we could enter near like a support level, especially if the trend reverses back up. But now that we have broken the $200 resistance, that would be a support level. Now I think 165 might be a little bit too low. I'm not too sure whether you can hit all the way back down again, because 200 would be a support, right? I mean, if it breaks the 200 support, yeah, then probably yes. But now 200 is a support level. So let me go to shift this zone right over here up, and if it does near this support level, so anything from like 200 to maybe even 205 or 210 right over here, I think you get a point, right? That is potentially where some bargain hunting can come back again. And if you want to be safe as well, you want to have a stop loss as well in case it breaks 200. You put your stop loss at 195, 190 just to protect in case it starts to push and retrace all the way down to like 165. So that's what we call a trade plan, whereby you have a target price for more upside but have a stop loss as well in case a key support level is broken, right? So upside targets could be from near 200 all the way to about 220. You can see that's like about 8 to 9%. Of course, if it breaks the 220, targets could be revised even higher, maybe all the way to 250. That would be like about a 23% upside. So make sure you have a plan, all right, to what to do for Apple. Have a stop loss. But overall, my take is that it looks pretty bullish as long as it stays above this 200 higher support level. Alright guys, so that is Apple. I hope you have a better understanding of where we are right now in terms of the charts, what some of the key levels to take note of, and in terms of the news that have came out over the past week as well, why did we actually spike up. So if you want to find out a little bit more on the entire strategy, my strategy called One Good Trend. So I don't have time to share with you the entire thing. Today we just pretty much dive into like the trends of the key levels, but if you want to find out about the entire strategy, attend one of those free webinars. I'll just place the link below, click on the link to register for it, attend it. It's about 2 hours long, and that's where I'll share with you guys on my One Good Trend strategy and how we actually have a system or like a software that guides us on entry and exit just by having bullish and even bearish signals on the chart. So check it out, the link is right below. And Joey here, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.